LFGM, a Mets podcast. Let's fucking go Mets. Episode 6. Here we are, Matthew, and the 40 man's starting to come together. We've got a lot going on here with the Mets. We've got trade rumors circulating. We actually made a trade within the last 24 hours, and we're seeing some roster spots kind of being, thrown around and moved around here. So it's an interesting time to see, what the brain trust of the Metropolitans front office, what they're thinking and where they're going, and it gives you some insight into potential moves that might be happening down the road.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing big or anything, but you kind of see them trying to shuffle pieces to make some things work here, which, you hope we do get rid of a few more guys, and then you hope we do add a couple more pieces that can help us out.
Absolutely. So the breaking news here that happened in the last, 15, 20 minutes is the Mets have DFA'd Brad Brack because they needed to create an open roster spot on their 40-man for the recently signed Jonathan Villar. I love the addition of Jonathan Villar. I think, are we going with Villar or Villar?
Whatever you want.
All right.
Because I don't know.
We'll go with Villar. Villar, VR, I don't know. Jonathan. I like the addition. I think it's smart. He remember that one year he had with the Orioles where he was crushing balls out of Camden Yards and he stole like 40 bags. But I mean, even when he was with the Marlins I think he was there the last 2 years, you getting yourself an infielder, pretty much, we're talking like second base, maybe a sprinkle of shortstop if necessary, and you're getting some speed. And speed is something that the New York Mets have lacked big time over the last decade, unless we're talking about Eric Young Jr., who couldn't hit the ball, or we're talking about Billy Hamilton, who was on the team for like a week last year. So I think the addition of some speed is going to be a big plus for this team, especially in the late innings.
First, I think you might have to, he didn't hit great, but you might have to put some respect on EY Jr.'s name. He was pretty decent.
Why am I respecting Eric Young Jr.?
He was pretty decent for us, dude.
Come on, man.
He wasn't, I didn't expect him to hit, but that man stole bases.
He stole bags, man. He really did. He
stole bags.
So besides Eric Young Jr. and Billy Hamilton, Angel Pagan stole a few bags, but that's back, that's 2009, 2010, 2011. We're talking a decade ago there. And that's even like a sprinkle. Like Rosario had some speed, but he was not a base stealer by any means. Jimenez last year, has some speed, but not a base stealer. It's nice when you can get some guys on base, especially in the later innings when you got to manufacture a run here and there. And you're not hitting every ball out of the ballpark with our dead-end baseballs this year. So I think it's going to be a big addition for the Mets.
Yeah, I think it'll be all right. I mean, he's got some pop. He can hit a little bit. I don't really take 2020 as anything for many players at all, especially when they struggle. And he didn't do great last year, but that's a throwaway year. He's got some speed, right? He could steal some bags. He plays a couple different positions, which is nice. Doesn't play any of them really like superb, which is, it's whatever. People need to know that though. But you can see him kind of spelling JD at third with the current roster. If we don't make any moves now, I could see him playing, spelling him every 1 or 2 days over there.
Yeah. When it first happened, I texted you immediately and I said, well, that's a big upgrade over Eduardo Nunez. Remember Eduardo Nunez? What happened to him? He played 2 games and then he was gone. He's dead in the water.
Or an upgrade over Jed Lowry.
Jed Lowry, who just signed a minor league deal back with Oakland.
He's alive. He's alive again.
Is he though? Is he?
Yeah, he is. I think so. I think he's breathing again. He was dead for a few years.
Someone check his pulse.
I wanted Uncle Stevie to purchase him as like one of his art pieces and just put him in Citi Field.
He could be Mr.
Put him
Met.
in Citi Field.
Give Mr. Met Jed Lowry's knee brace, and have him walk out on the field.
Just put him like you have what's it called, Seaver Walkway or whatever it is, right there. You have the Seaver statue. Just put like
No, what's even better would be like,
a
you know when
glass box of Jed.
Monument Park used to be like part of the outfield. It's like you just put like Jed Lowry in center field, like where the Great Wall of Flushing is, and you just tell him, "Hey man, you can't move for 9 innings. Don't flinch. Just stick him out there."
Yeah, I mean that's what I was hoping we were gonna do, but we lost him.
But and you know what's interesting with this move is I mean I didn't foresee the Mets DFAing Brad Brack by any means, which tells you that there is potentially an open spot in the bullpen somewhere. Do they think highly enough of the God? I'm going to butcher the guy's name again. Is it Smith Foley? Smith Reed? The Mats trade.
I don't know either of those names. I'm not sure. Maybe I mispronounced the name wrong. I mean, I don't think it means that there's a spot open in the pen. I think it means that we have a bunch of guys that we don't need, and he's one of them. And I was a little surprised that we picked them up to start this offseason. So
yeah, I mean, it's kind of like wasted money there, right? Unless somebody's going to claim him, and then it's just kind of null and void. It's Sean Reed Foley. I don't know why I always want to call him Aiden. So does he make the opening day roster at this point? I don't know.
I don't think that means that at all, though. Look at our roster. We probably need to take a few more bullpen arms out.
Well, speaking of bullpen arms, I told you this. I'm going to say probably in episode 1, if not definitely episode 2. I told you for a fact. I said I wouldn't be surprised if Steven Matz gets traded because they're going to want to clear the salary there. And it was a move that I think wouldn't have happened with the Wilpons because the Wilpons just would have let him walk in free agency. At least we got something for Steven Matz, right? And I think the next two that are going to go, and I don't think you can get both of them, but you're going to try to trade one of them, would be Familia or Betances. And you're starting to see that rumor circulating that the Mets are shopping both Familia and Betances and trying to see which offer is going to be best for them. And
which offer? Who's going to offer them, dude?
Matt, I know they're trying to get rid of some salary. They're trying to get rid of some salary. How does that not make sense?
Try all you want. Let's try to get rid of Cano too.
Cano's not on the books for this year.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's like we could try all we want, but the fact of the matter is that there's a lot better relievers on the market than Jerry Family, who are free agents right now.
Fact.
Who are going to cost $11 million.
Justin Wilson's one of them.
Yes.
I mean, our 40-man's full, and we're talking about trying to get rid of Betances, trying to get rid of Familia, and trying to bring back Justin Wilson, and potentially adding another starting pitcher, which we're going to get to in a second. So there's still quite a few moves that I think are going to be made here by the front office.
And listen, it can happen. Obviously, it can happen. I know it can happen, but also what can happen is it's we dump Familia and we take on another not great contract, right? We take on another bad contract, or we trade Familia and we have to pair maybe a top 20 guy,
likely.
Maybe a top 20 guy.
That's more likely though. That's 100% more likely.
So I don't know. Obviously, it depends on the guy, but a prospect ranked 10 through 25 for us, is it worth it? Is it worth it? You have to ask yourself.
I don't know because it's hard to answer that question right now because if you look at it on paper, it's obviously not going to be worth it. But what could potentially happen afterwards is it allows for more flexibility and more spending this year on people who are free agents, which you just said there are better pitchers out there in free agency than we have on the roster currently.
So is trading one of these prospects worth it to get Kyle Hendricks as part of a trade? Is it worth it to sign James Paxton for that Familia money that we just got rid of?
No. I mean, I was talking to you a little bit about this last night. I'm not a James Paxton guy. I've watched my fair share of Yankee games because Ryan is a Yankee fan, and I have two brothers that happen to be Yankee fans, and sometimes the games happen to be on. And if the Met game's on at a different time, then I have no problem watching the Yankees. I have seen the Big Maple throw so many 4-inning, 95-pitch games and come out dripping in sweat. I have no interest in James Paxton. I can't believe there are Met fans who are out here imploring the team to sign him. I would rather gamble on Jake Arrieta than spend. I don't even know what Paxton's value is. I'm guessing 10 to 12 million. I have no idea. I want no part of him. I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, I mean, I'm one of those guys that I feel the opposite on, just because solely he does have he has the best stuff out of all the starting pitching free agents.
When was the last time he was
great.
healthy? When was the last time he was healthy? Fully healthy.
Last season,
No,
2019.
That's 2 years ago. That's two.
You're counting this this half season.
That's
way
fair.
Too much
No, that's a good point.
Is.
That's a good point.
He's got a 6 ERA 2020. I can't argue that. What do you want me to tell you?
No,
it was
a
very weird. It was a very weird situation with him and the Yankees. You remember when he was throwing? He was getting taken out after 3 or 4 innings, and then the post game presser, they would ask him questions about it, and he'd be like, "Yeah, I don't know why."
Him and Jay Happ, the same thing kept happening.
Yeah, so I might be thinking of Jay Happ even a little bit more.
No, but it happened with both of them. Jay Happ was more argumentative with the media about it. But
okay, that's what it was.
With Paxton too. Dude's been hurt for. I mean, I feel like every time I look at him, he's on the 15-day DL. So not the DL, the IL. Pardon my French. I can't believe I just did that.
That's hurtful.
Oh, shut up.
Listen, his numbers are down across the board, right? Even looking, I don't care about stats, but like when you look at like his stuff, like his velocity and stuff, it was down last year, but it also was battling through injuries, trying to make a buck for free agency. Honestly, that's probably what he was trying to do. He's probably hurt, and if he had a long-term contract, he probably wouldn't have been out there.
But so then I guess my problem with it is that I think he's gonna gather more money than Arrieta, and I feel like they both should be in the same boat. And I think my biggest problem with Paxton is you're going to be spending double the amount of money. I know, but it does matter if you still have Familia and Betances. I have no interest in going over the luxury tax. None. You saw what happened in Boston when they went over. They could not sign Mookie Betts. Do you want to sign Francisco Lindor? Do you want to sign Michael Conforto? Do you want to sign Noah Syndergaard? Don't go over the luxury tax this year. And I know he's worth, I don't know, $12 billion. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Stay
that's not what I'm
under the
arguing,
luxury
though.
tax.
What do we have to burn? You said it yourself last episode. What, $35 million? I'm assuming. So then I'm assuming Paxton. Okay, 1 year, $12 million. Who else are we getting? Have you looked at the free agency list?
But you can also. All right. I guess that's fair. It is fair.
There is not much out there. That's all I'm saying is there's not much. So if we don't get Paxton, then check out Taijuan Walker if we want a starting pitcher.
Ugh.
Well,
he'll get a few years somewhere. Paxton and Arrieta, you can get on 1 year, I think.
1 year, that's all I'm saying. And Arrieta's not going to get 2 years. He's going to get a 1 year. Look at what Corey Kluber got this year from the Yankees. I know. That's what these guys get paid, man. That's what they get paid.
Maybe that's what I have the biggest problem with. I don't know.
That's probably what it is, and it's hard to get over that too because I don't,
Dude, I think it's Arrieta for like $500,000. I feel like, but he's not going to get that. Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy? I know. Anyways, let's go. Let's get off of starting pitchers to jump back on starting pitchers in a weird way. I'm going to work this. It'll make sense. It goes back to the Steven Matz trade. Our starting pitcher goes to Toronto. In return, we got a relief pitcher called Josh Winkowski, who late last night, the Mets made a trade involving said Josh Winkowski. So, I mean, again, this goes back to you picked up the option on Steven Matz. You were able to get something for Steven Matz, and then you were able to turn that something into something a little bit better, right? Winkowski was our 26th overall prospect, something like that. The Red Sox shop Benintendi. We get involved in the mix, and we get now he's our 8th overall prospect, an outfielder in return. Khalil Lee, I think his name is, I believe.
Yeah.
I was looking up a little bit about Khalil Lee. It says the ceiling would be starting outfielder every day. The low bar, they got him at a fourth outfielder. He needs to develop some pop, but he's got some good speed. So, I mean, just the optics of flipping your 26th prospect for then your 8th overall prospect, that's a win for me. I also think I wouldn't be surprised if Khalil Lee is somebody who the Mets could then add in with the Betances or a Familia trade. And then you're really turning Steven Matz into, double clearance right there, which is, I mean, that's like evil genius type smartness.
Dude, it's something that we haven't seen because the Wilpons have been in the way.
I know.
Stuff like this. And like you said earlier, it all started with just taking on Steven Matz's contract, even when we thought maybe we shouldn't take on that money. And that's what a good organization does. Yeah, we'll take on, what was he making, $6 million or so?
Like
yeah, we'll take that on.
More, something like that.
That's nothing to a big organization. Take it on. You'll see when teams get desperate. You see the market for starting pitching is relatively weak, like we just talked about, and now we're able to flip them for a guy that originally everyone was pretty happy in getting, and then we take that guy, and somehow I guess we get a better prospect. It doesn't make much sense to me, the trade, especially like it seems like we made out in it the best, and like the Red Sox traded Benintendi for like Franchi Cordero and a few no-name guys. It makes no sense to me. Well, honestly,
I mean, not that we're a Red Sox podcast,
but I'd be going wild.
This is a Red Sox podcast, but they lost Benny, who they love. Chaim Bloom is going to go up there and bring in his own guys, as you're starting to see. Kansas City, that's Benintendi's got big upside. Somehow we were able to flip prospects in that and make out like a bandit.
Yeah, I don't know why they need us.
I guess they in my estimation, Chaim Bloom was probably pretty high on Josh Winkowski, and the players that we're going to name in return to Boston, he might be able to handpick some of the guys, lower down on the list that he likes. And it probably maybe one or two guys more, but I don't see it being that much, honestly. But he's like that. He comes from Tampa. He's using the Rays organization, and this is how they do business, man.
Yeah. No, we got this guy Lee, who I guess now is our number 7 top prospect.
He's 7. I thought he was 8, so 7. I mean, that's 26 to 7 or 8. Either way, you're making out like a bandit. And like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if he's the piece. I mean, would you be mad at that? If I told you tomorrow either Betances or Familia and Khalil Lee were traded for a no-name?
No, because he was never ours, I guess.
Because you literally are turning Steven Matz
into shut-in payroll
and Familia for 2 relief pitchers. What's his name? I'm gonna mess it up again. Reed Foley. I gotta figure that one out.
I don't even know his name at this point anymore. Honestly, I'll take anything.
I've confused you. But that's evil genius smartness right there, in my estimation, at least.
It's smart.
And that allows you to then sign your Arrieta or your Paxton of your choosing without going even near the luxury tax. And the reason that I'm saying, I don't want to be near the luxury tax is because when the trading deadline comes around, or the other rumors that are circulating, right? You're going to want some flexibility. You don't want to be at 210 and say, we're done. We're done.
That's
We're
fair.
not making any more
That's
moves.
fair.
You have to have some flexibility for this year as well. I want to talk 3 more rumors, and then we'll wrap it up here. The 3 other rumors are third base, and I know you know 2 of them, but I don't know if you know this last one. This last one's going to be like cherry on top of the cake for you, and it's not Nolan Arenado. You know how I felt about him. I love him. I hate that I have to hate him now because he's a Cardinal. but he's such a Cardinal. That's such a good place for him. Rumor number 1, sounds like talks are picking up for Chris Bryant and Kyle Hendricks. That's number 1. Rumor number 2, Eugenio Suarez and Sonny Gray. That's rumor number 2. Rumor number 3, I don't know if you know this one. This is one that I just heard, that if I had to pick out of all of them, I mean, hands down, this is the one that I'm like, my mind's going crazy about this. Sir Matthew Chapman, Platinum Glove winner, Matthew Chapman of the Oakland A's, has been, rumors are circulating. So,
No shot.
so
No
let's,
shot.
yeah, I don't know about no shot. Cubs first. Bryant's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. Hendricks has some money on his contract, so it would be similar to the Lindor trade in that aspect. Because you would be getting 2 players. You're getting a pitcher who is still signed long-term, $14 million, I think it is, per year for the next, 2 or 3 years? 3 years, right?
Yeah.
And Bryant is going to be a free agent at the end of the year. So then you're talking about extending Bryant, Lindor, Conforto, Noah. That's tough. Option 2 is Eugenio Suarez and Sonny Gray. Gray is a little bit cheaper. The Reds got him on the cheap because he was coming off of that Yankees contract. Suarez, it sounds like, is a guy who they're going to move out of the fact that they aren't going to be as competitive this year as they would have liked to be. Option 3, it's the Oakland A's. And similar to Tampa Bay, they move guys when they can, and they try to get some prospects in return. And Chapman, I think, would get a haul. And I don't know what that would look like. I don't know who we're even talking at this point, but I heard that the Mets are engaging in conversations with Oakland at Sandy's old stomping grounds. And that glove over at third base would be unreal. Nothing gets through the left side of the infield if it's Matthew Chapman and Francisco Lindor.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I guess we'll start with Bryant. I know that they won a lot. I know that the Cubs won a lot. They won Alvarez, and that's not going to happen. So it's more likely to, like you said, trade deadline comes in July, and they get a little bit desperate, and they lower their expectations. And so I'm fine with sitting that one out and waiting on that, especially with I don't really necessarily want Kyle Hendricks till 2023 either.
It's a lot. It would be, I think, 2020. So it would be 2021 this year, 22, and then 23, right? And then he's off.
Yeah.
At like 14 mil, 14, 28, 42.
Yeah. Yep. So that's tough. I like Eugenio Suarez. I don't love him just because he strikes out so much. It's
a lot of bombs too.
All these guys do, I get that, but he strikes out more than everyone, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm intrigued by Sonny Gray, obviously. And I think Eugenio is locked up for like 4 or 5 years. But I don't necessarily love that. I would assume that they would want just as much, maybe even more, than what the Cubs want for Chris Bryant. Would you agree with that?
I would think so. And I would think because those players are locked up. Those players are locked up, you can command a lot more. With Bryant, it's pretty similar to the Lindor trade in the aspect of, hey, we're trading for him as a rental. And that's the way you have to look at it, because if the Cubs go, oh, well, you can sign him. You go, no, he's not under contract. Yeah. With the Reds, you don't even have that option. That's not even on the table.
Yeah. And then the third option with Chapman, that's great. I would love that. I am assuming that the A's would have to be absolutely blown away in whatever any team has to offer, because I think he's only making like $6 million a year and has a couple more years of arbitration, so he's cheap.
6.5, yeah. It's 6.5 this year. He's arbitration 2 the following, arbitration 3 the following, and then he's unrestricted free agent in 2024. So
Yeah,
you would have 3 years of control there.
Yeah, they're gonna want everything, and
Yep.
they should ask for everything for him. I mean, he should probably stay put, realistically speaking.
Yeah, but isn't this what Oakland does? Don't this is what they do. And you know what? Even if they do move him, guess what? They're still going to win 97 games and make it to the playoffs. This is just what they do. It's a machine out there.
Yeah, no, that's true. They got time on them. They could do this next year and get the same amount. Get the
No,
same.
you're right.
They could get the same package that they want. So it'd have to be the perfect package. It's gonna have to be at least one of our top 5 prospects, probably 2 of them, honestly. 2 of them.
I would think it's probably. I mean, you're throwing JD in so that they have a starting third baseman, which I can't believe I'm saying you're throwing JD in. You know how I feel about JD. I love him. Is he a superstar? No. Does he have to be? No.
Jumbo dick.
You can call him that, but I'm not going to call him that.
All right, continue.
You would imagine that that's a 2 or 3 prospect haul, and it's going to have to be Oakland gets to pick who they want. I'll tell you what, and I know the Cubs want him, and I don't know. I haven't really seen any of like what the Reds actually want or what. I mean, this Oakland chatter is kind of just starting, so I haven't seen anything on what they want too. But the Cubs want my guy, and they ain't going to get him. Francisco Alvarez is untouchable. Don't even bring it up. He's not moving because when McCann's contract runs out, he steps right in. He's not going anywhere. He's untouchable.
The A's would probably want him. They would probably. Would you? I mean, they would want. I bet you it would be JD, Alvarez, and Mauricio.
See, I'm fine with trading Mauricio because I'm under the intent that the Mets will 100% sign Francisco Lindor long term. So I have no problem trading Mauricio. I think it would probably what's best for him long term, and I think it's probably best for the organization so that they can get max value for him now. Because when teams realize after you sign Lindor long term, his value is just going to go down because they know you're trying to get rid of him. That's just the way that works. Nothing against him as a player. It's just that's capitalism. That's supply and demand. I cannot see them trading Alvarez. I can't, and I wouldn't. The reason you signed McCann to a 4-year deal is because when that deal is in year 3 and in year 4, you know who your next starting catcher is, and you don't have to worry about it.
No, I agree. I mean, I think he'll be up probably even by year 2, by next year. We're probably talking about
really
him coming
good,
up.
and I have there's nothing in me that says, sure, like let's try. Like, yeah, but I would really be disappointed if we moved Alvarez.
Yeah, you want to see that through because we haven't had a Mets prospect catcher really that's ours. You could say Darno, but we got him in
He
a
wasn't
trade.
ours. We traded for him. And
Did
first
we?
off, he was.
So who did we trade for him?
I'll give you the Darno the path here. Darno was he was in the Phillies organization. And
no, I'm talking about Alvarez.
No, we didn't trade Alvarez.
I'm saying Alvarez.
Oh no! I was agreeing with you.
Ours.
I was agreeing with you. We Darno's not ours. We traded.
I know that. I know.
So Darno started with the Phillies. He was in the Roy Halladay deal that sent him to Toronto.
I know.
Well, not everybody who's listening might know. Our 9 listeners might not know.
Frozen right now.
Well, it's your connection. Figure it out. And then when we traded my guy, R.A. Dickey, Cy Young Award winner, to Toronto, we got Travis d'Arnaud. And you know who the throw-in in that deal was? People forget this.
Yes.
Noah Syndergaard was the throw-in in that deal.
You're just doing revisionist history here?
I'm sorry. We were just not on the same page there. It's because your internet stinks.
Yeah, you're chopping up a little bit. I'll go one better than you.
All right, try to one-up me.
Do you know who the Toronto Blue Jays wanted to include in that deal? Or
I know.
Do you know who the Mets wanted the Blue Jays to include instead of Darnell?
Are you ready?
Or instead of Syndergaard?
2-time Cy Young Award winner and Rookie of the Year, Jacob deGrom.
No.
That's not who they wanted?
Let me rephrase the question. Do you know who the Mets wanted the Blue Jays to include and the Blue Jays wouldn't?
Okay. Yeah, no, the Blue Jays wanted deGrom too. There's another funny deGrom trade that I can tell you afterwards. That almost happened. Who did the Blue Jays want to add in that deal? I don't know.
He's working out for teams again. I hope he gets picked up because I've always liked him, but hasn't had quite the career Noah has. So we lucked out in this. Aaron Sanchez.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He
was pretty. He had some decent years, but
he's highly regarded by them. Yeah.
Good stuff too. Okay. Here's the Jacob deGrom trade that almost happened. This was probably back. It had to be like 2012, 2013. The Mets were shopping for a backup catcher. We ended up trading with Boston to get Kelly Shoppach. Do you remember when Kelly Shoppach was with us for like half a year?
Do I ever?
Well, the New York Mets almost traded Jacob deGrom for Kelly Shoppach.
So it can always be worse.
You can't. I mean, yeah. Well, there's Nolan Ryan for you. That would just be all-time bad. Thank God that hasn't been. That didn't go through.
Cry myself to sleep every night.
Well, not anymore. Not with Uncle Stevie in Citi Field.
Nope.
It's interesting to see what they do at third base. Do they do it before the season? Do they do it before the trade deadline? What prospects are they available to move? You would imagine shortstop. They're available to move some shortstops. I would say catcher's untouchable. I would say if you have a first base prospect, you could probably move one of them, given you have 2 starting first basemen on this team. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens at third base. I honestly, I think they're set at starting pitcher. I don't know why we would also add a Hendricks or a Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray, I understand a little bit more than Hendricks. Hendricks' contract sucks.
Keep Jumbo Dick. Keep him.
I love JD.
Keep him, man. Keep him. We don't, we could wait. We could see it through all the way to July, and then if we got to trade for another bat in the infield, then we'll figure it out. That's not what we need at all. I think that more than ever, I think you're right in saying that we shouldn't just try to blow some money right now because, we might need a center fielder in July.
Because what if
it doesn't work out?
Is hitting 180 again?
Yeah. And we want to kill him. Yeah.
But I was very happy when they signed him. You, not so much.
Nah, I'm indifferent because, we'll see him out there once a week. We don't need to see him out there any more than that. And
that's fine.
I'm fine with Nimmo giving him a chance out there. I heard an interview with him just before hopping on here. He was dressed in all camo, and he's been training in Port St. Lucie all winter. So
could you see him?
Go.
He was dressed in all camo. Could you see him?
Yeah, he wasn't in the woods in the interview. So I was able to pick him out in a baseball field.
Nothing gets me. This is crazy. Nothing gets me more excited than a walk.
Oh yeah, I knew you were going to go there. I knew you were going to go there. Oh yeah.
Oh,
I love it.
I can't.
I like it better than a hit.
We FaceTime you when the first time it happens this year. It's going to happen. Matthew. Oh, Matthew. Brandon Nimmo just walked. Let's go.
Every Brandon Nimmo walk, you should just record your reaction. Piece them all together at the end of the season.
Everybody on Twitter now does those instant reaction videos. We should make a Brandon Nimmo just walked Twitter. And
we should do that.
Every time we could do like Frank the Tank with like a thumbs up or something like that. We'll try to do like a Brandon Nimmo just walked again.
that could be our Twitter profile information section, our headline. It's like, we love watching Brandon Nimmo walk.
Brandon Nimmo Walk Fan Club.
Nothing better. Yeah, nothing better than a Brandon Nimmo walk.
Oh God. Well, that's all I got, man. I'm interested to see what happens at third base, but like you said, there's really no deadline on it. So this could be it. We might see some Betances Familia action here. Um, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the prospects they move is Khalil Lee, the guy that they just traded for. Um, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting few weeks to see how the rest of the 40 man kind of shapes out, and to see who's getting some of these the invites to MLB spring training down there in beautiful Port St. Lucie, and we'll see what happens here in the next 2 weeks or so.
Let's go. Spring training on the way. Ready
That's
to
right,
go.
baby. All right. You got anything else?
No. That's
All
it.
right, ladies and gentlemen, let's put it in the books.